Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, for the Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Now, for those who are not old enough to remember the original Shaq Fu, it was a 2D fighting game that came out on the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo consoles. It has been categorized and criticized and pretty much given the title of the worst video game ever, either that or E.T. But as someone who actually played Shaq Fu as a kid, it wasn't the worst fighting game I've ever experienced. I mean, if people who play this game say it's the worst fighter ever, they've never played Rise of the Robots. So here we are in 2018, over 20 years later. Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, instead of it being another 2D fighter, this is now a 2.5 side-scroller brawler. Very similar to the days of Streets of Rage, or one of my personal favorites, Maximum Carnage, the Spider-Man game. This is a game based on the player taking Shaq through various locales to defeat enemies in hordes, just grand numbers, with his magical kung fu powers that include him being able to utilize his size 22 in a way that would not only knock a person into the camera, but could actually fall from the sky. You can perform combos with the light attack to lead into the size 22, or you can punch the ground and cause a shockwave that will knock enemies back. Shaq can also transform, where Shaq can either turn into Big Shaq Diesel, where he's just kind of like a mechanized version of himself, or Shactus, which is actually Shaq turning into a cactus. I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating. Shaq becomes a cactus in this game. Of course, there are various enemies. You have the random street punks, you have the projectile throwers, you have the just big brawlers that Shaq has to dispose of as he tries to save his village from this evil entity that has come forth out of nowhere. One of my favorite parts about Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, is the fact that the story doesn't take itself seriously. It's obvious that the universe of Shaq Fu, be it the old game or this one, is absurd. His mentor is absurd. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the entire game. This is mentor, who has cameos throughout the entire story. There are some definite flaws when it comes to the humor. It's kind of sophomoric, lowbrow. It's not really 2018. You know, it's kind of one of those things that if you showed this to somebody, they might cringe and ask you why this is funny now. Actually, one of the biggest flaws that I have is the fact that it's only about a couple of hours. I played the first 40 minutes of it, and I ran through 3 stages without a problem. And I looked and I saw that I had about 3 more stages, so I'm assuming it'll probably take me another hour to an hour and a half to finish the game, which is ridiculous because there's not much here when it comes to the overall package. This is a single player game through and through. There is no multiplayer, there's no double dragons kind of action or Battletoads. There is just you as Shaq fighting through 6 stages. Unfortunately, it's priced a little too high. I would suggest you wait until it's on sale for maybe $10 at the most, or if you can rent it like through GameFly, I suggest you go that route. It's a short yet solid and satisfying experience. If I had to say out of 10, it'll probably get a 7. It's that kind of game that you'll spend 2 hours on, you'll enjoy a majority of it throughout, and once you're done with it, you'll never play it again. But I will say this, if this is what they can do, I'm actually looking forward to a sequel. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, with another video game first impressions. Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, on the PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna be like Ye and try to figure out how to get that gold bond sponsorship, because If there's one life lesson to learn from Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, it's this. Gold bond sponsorships will get you big, fat paychecks and make you say, "Oh, Lordy."